check, 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 check. Can we get on with this? We're like an hour late.
31 years ago, Kurt Cobain took his own life at his house.
Man, brother did not take his own life, bro. Someone killed his ass for his fucking money. It's not hard to fucking figure out that shit, man. And that someone sounds like his ex-wife. Yeah. Bro was ready to divorce his ass. He's like, bitch, you the reason why everything's falling down the cliffside. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers, if you think Kurt Cobain killed himself, your ass tweaking, man. Your ass need to do your research on niggas, man.
If you did a drive-by on 12-year-old me and just quickly passed by and said, hey, buddy, you're still going to be playing video games when you're 25 years old, I'd be like, fuck, am I a loser or what's going on? Because video games when we were kids were considered like the most...
Today, right now, to this fame. Then I made it to this spring. He done follow to the floor, made bitch ass scream. I pull up by that same and they left his ass flat. You ain't real in that motherfucking natural habitat. Fuck you talking about, little bitch. You ain't really told them straps. Always talking like you rap.
Joey Badass.
Joey's going crazy. He's not saying nothing.
Slapping everything on the West Coast lyrically. I seen Absol sit there like looking around like he don't even know what planet he on. What I'm saying is this: if Kendrick not responding,
what I actually want.
Every on the West Coast lyrically, I seen Absol sit there and like he looking around like he
don't give a fuck what take you got, boy. Your ass still on the fire for what you did to that girl, man. Your ass. We're not forgetting what you did, you motherfucker.
What I'm saying is this:
I'm not forgetting what you did, AK.
Kendrick not responding.
One of your best friends was 6ix9ine, bunch of scums, man.
Then
for
I'm
real,
not covering
bunch of scumbag niggas, man. Y'all motherfuckers like hanging around each other, right? Scumbag ass niggas. Scum niggas!
Oh, yeah, like, why act while you don't cover lyrics? Because
niggas.
When the boy got called out, he didn't send out Smiley. He ain't send out Top 5. He ain't send out nobody else. He popped out. You call for the king, we want the king. I don't want to see the gestures pop out.
What? Cap.
Beef has been embedded
Shut up. Drake had all the gestures pop out. Fuck around with your ass.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
And when he kept pushing, his ass still had all the gestures. What is he talking about, man? Stop drinking on that liquor, man. Get off that Hennessy, boy, because that's how you got in trouble the first time, bitch. That's how you got trouble with that one girl, man. Stop drinking on that liquor, man. Get off that shit, boy. Your ass need a fucking AA meeting or some shit.
DNA for decades now, and perhaps more than ever.
Your ass need to sit down, man. Everybody need an intervention with your dumb ass, because your ass out here tweaking, man.
You need to leave.
Often isn't good enough. Last May, it was defined by the Clash of the Titans, with Kendrick and Drake engaging in what was the squabble of the century. And despite the initial claims that certain accusations had done irreparable damage to Drake's career, he's still breaking sales records till this day. Meanwhile, Kendrick has been on a historic run, encompassing everything from a historic Super Bowl halftime performance to a tour that's now led him to making upwards of $14 million per night. In this instance, we all saw how beef can spark an evolution of an artist's legacy.
That nigga act like all that shit is going to his pockets. Man, he got to split that shit with the, you know what I'm saying, with all the crew and shit, bro. He got to split that with hella people. So I think that at the end of the day, he making by like 7, a good 7. But they ain't bad a day. 7 a day ain't bad.
Not bad, not bad.
He got to account for all this shit. He got to, you know what I'm saying, all that crews, all that motherfucking food, all the people, you know what I mean? I think he just pocketing all that 14 by himself. That's a lot.
Especially after taking...
You're goddamn right.
He charged beef with Hove lit a fire under him once more, reminding him why he was a top-tier MC with Ether and the subsequent Stillmatic album that followed. But unfortunately, for some misguided rappers, diving into a beef doesn't guarantee a boost in their standing. Elevating diss tracks from niche fan debates to a full-blown career resurgence takes more than just bars. It requires the right mix of timing, narrative, and impact to truly capture the world's attention and shift the culture. And at the moment, Joey Badass is learning that firsthand as he decimates every MC that the West Coast sends his way. Despite being a recognizable name in hip-hop,
that nigga's timing was fucking off, man. Should have let that boy rest a little bit, then came back with that 4.
Poppin'. Now, in the acting world, Joey's a rapper who hasn't quite found his place in the current era of hip-hop. In truth, he struggled to replicate the seismic impact he made at the outset of his career. But when you've recorded a timeless mixtape at 17 like he did with 1999, it's always going to be a struggle to keep that pace up. And while his skills have never been called into question, the lengthy delay between projects didn't help and has pretty much meant that most of his music has underperformed on the commercial level, despite gaining unanimous praise on the underground. In fact, with the exception of Devastated and his writing credits on Post Malone's Rockstar, he's barely got a plaque on the wall. Now, this doesn't necessarily define Joey, as many of the most renowned artists in the history of hip-hop were never appreciated in their own time or topped the charts. The problem is that throughout his career, Joey has always wanted to be among the elite. And although he'd probably downplay it now, Joey had always been an admirer of Kendrick, using him as a measuring stick as he ascended into greatness in his own right, in terms of how you can balance lyrical substance with sales.
Before we had him, we was really in a critical condition, you know what I'm saying? But to me, it's just funny because, like I said, I've been a fan, I've been following since 15. But it's also different for me because, you know what I mean, now I'm one of the best rappers in the world myself, so it's like, it's competition.
And it was that competition which Joey had always tried to coax Kendrick into. After K-Dot declared himself the king of New York and insisted he was trying to retire all of his rivals by out-rapping them, Joey, whose name wasn't even mentioned, fired back on the knowledge-produced Killuminati 2, spitting, "No escaping, you in the swimming pool of champagne. You set yourself up for that one, man. The king of New York, huh? We ain't just gonna let that one hang." But just like everyone else who stepped up to the plate with a diss response aimed at Kendrick, Joey's attempt to draw him into a battle went completely ignored, with Kendrick never taking the bait. So instead, Joey tried a new strategy. On the track The Baddest from his most recent album 2000, Joey instead gave Kendrick his props by shouting out the men he felt were his artistic equals, spitting, "Kenny, Joey, and Cole, the holy trinity. It's that 9-5s in affinity." But while Kendrick and Cole were selling out arenas worldwide, Joey has remained stationary, and if anything, aged out of the era where he was most prominent. So with that, Joey switched up his approach yet again in the wake of Kendrick reviving his city with Not Like Us and dropping the GNX, which was basically a showcase for rising talent from across Cali. It was clear K-Dot was embracing his role as the West Coast's leader more seriously than he had in at least a decade, if not ever. And here, Joey saw his opportunity to re-emerge on Kendrick's radar with The Ruler's Back. Among an emphatic conductor beat, Joey suggested that NY was being overshadowed by its palm tree-lined neighbors, claiming that there was, quote-unquote, too much West Coast licking going on. Straight away, this registered to fans as an attempt to yet again kickstart a feud with Cali's finest. And while it stirred up some noise, even prompting TDE's Ray Vaughn to respond with Crash Out Heritage and ruffling Daylight's feathers in the process, Joey still didn't get what he was really after. So 15 days later, he re-emerged with Sorry Not Sorry. And this time, Cole caught most of the flack, with bars like, "I know that men lie, women lie, but Joey don't. Might delete later, but I know damn sure Joey won't." However, that doesn't mean that Dot got off the hook this time either. Instead, Joey kept coming at his sense of honor, spitting, "Cat got his tongue he's been missing all week. Nah, perfect time to separate the strong from the weak, huh?" Still, no matter what he tried, Joey seemed unable to coax Kendrick to the light. Instead, he kept getting pitted against Ray Vaughn, and on Pardon Me, he seemed aware that it had no stakes for him, rapping, "Nobody knows your name, kid, but I know what your aim is. I shoot you, I'm brainless, you shoot me, you're famous." But as we now know, Joey tried to lead by example, sparring with any and all challengers in what has been a lyrical clinic on his part. And while Joey is probably no further forward nor backward, there's a case to be made that he put the West on its back foot once more. And that brings us to May 13th, 2025. The real meat of this beef commenced after Joey stood shoulder to shoulder with Ab-Soul and Big Sean for a nostalgic freestyle with Red Bull.
That shit was hard, I ain't gonna cap. I watched that whole shit.
Most of the headlines coming out of it stemming from Joey's relentless smoke for the West. The interesting thing was that Ab-Soul absorbed the smoke in good humor, with the TDE mainstay even acknowledging the awkward position he'd been put in, rhyming, "In which case, Joey, you put me in a sticky predicament. I had to show my solidarity to my syndicate. Now, you know anybody can get it in such a way that it will make a physician conflicted." And although both sides brushed it off as playful banter, it didn't exactly reflect well on Kendrick or TDE as a whole, especially when they seemed to avoid responding to Joey's clear and intentional shots. But it was to be expected in a lot of ways. For one thing, Solo clearly had no interest in engaging, even if he made it clear that his loyalties to TDE were as intact as ever. If you know anything about Solo, feuding isn't really a part of his frequency, and most certainly not for fun. But while explaining his role in the whole freestyle in a recent interview with Vibe, he also highlighted why this back and forth hasn't truly gotten hold of the public imagination. "At the end of the day, I was gonna be super cool, but man, I choreographed the whole thing. Because of the whole thing with Joey and a couple of the homies, I knew he was going to have something to say about that. Me and Joey are really close, obviously, and so we had to let the whole world know that we were just keeping it on wax. We can get busy and still shake hands. I also wanted to synchronize it to where if you listen, we're all kinda getting at each other, he continued. It's a sibling rivalry. It's a friendly competition. Straight from the outset, Ab-Soul shut down any notion that this was a real beef, making it clear that things were ultimately peaceful. Because these days, fans are so used to explosive feuds, whether it's Kendrick versus Drake, Fulio versus Young and Ace, or any of the countless moments where street drama spills into the music, that a few lyrical jabs just aren't enough to get people truly hyped. And by the looks of it, K-Dot agrees. Because when you think about it, Kendrick only engages when there's something significant to gain, or if there's real animosity there. Instead, people have argued that Kendrick's time would be better spent funneling his energy into new projects or aiding the career of PG Lang signees like Baby Keem. On the other hand, there's a case to be made that Kendrick should respond. As someone who's now claimed top spot in hip-hop, this is what comes with the territory, and he shouldn't feel above engaging. Looking back, Drake never shied away from lesser beefs during
get on that booth, start letting loose.
his time of dominance when he was sparring with the likes of Joe Budden or even Meek Mill, nor did Eminem at the peak of his reign. And it's not like MGK, Benzino, ICP, or even Ja Rule was on his level, but an intrusion into his territory still merited a response. However, the common denominator here is that these feuds weren't exercises undertaken for sport, but underpinned by real ill will. And at the moment, the only person who really seems to be harboring any animosity is Ray Vaughn.
Do you feel obligated sometimes to hop in that beef and maybe throw some shots?
Yes.
And do it up.
Yeah. Yes, it's like I feel like any who not Drake should be just shutting the fuck up. Because if not, then it's like you gonna antagonize the other niggas who feel the same way I feel. Me, I feel it because I'm a TDE baby, so I'm gonna like take that personal.
Elsewhere, Ray underestimated Joey's skills and critiqued his instrumentation-heavy beat selection as if TDE's former general, Kendrick, hadn't dabbled with saxophones and live horns since Section 80.
Joey tight, he cool.
He was when?
Yeah.
I make jazz music right now.
Oh.
Despite Joey saying that there was no tangible gain for him on Pardon Me, Ray pushed forward after the Red Bull freestyle with Whole Era, forcing Joey's hand to respond. And for Ray, it made a whole lot of sense. He had just dropped a mixtape that, while full of solid tracks, completely flew under the radar. So when Joey spit, "I did more for you than the whole of TDE," it wasn't so much of an insult as an abolishment that Ray got what he wanted. Along the way, he palmed off some of those features on GNX, such as AZ Chike, with a singular witty line, and at every opportunity dropped a punchline which seemed to be more compelling than Daylight's multiple diss tracks about him. With that, it was clear that Joey was in the driver's seat, with most hip-hop commentators all agreeing that Joey was winning. From there, Joe Budden added that he simply overshadows any of the West Coast enemies as he's simply in a different class.
It's easy to dismiss Ray Vaughn and Daylight and anybody on TDE that's not Kendrick, Solo, Rock, Schoolboy, anybody else over there is easily dismissed. Sorry.
And along the way, Joey seemed to agree, spitting, "I'm the real boogeyman. Y'all should be afraid. Get the general. I'm killing his troops. Don't make me Pulitzer. Better be wise because I'm dotting T's and crossing your I's like Whitaker." Setting a 24-hour shot clock violation on responses, Joey let it be known that he could best these opponents. And rather than being contentious, everyone practically agreed. But while this has naturally painted Joey in a positive light by reaffirming everything we knew about him, it was Sean C. of all people that believes that it won't be the emphatic win he's been hoping for in the long run. As while all things like this can be fun, ultimately it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things when they're simply doing it for sport.
I don't think it's a coincidence that whenever someone talks about the greatest hip-hop conflicts between artists, between rappers, none of those conflicts that they reference stem from friendly competition.
From there, he argued that it won't be the fresh coat of paint on his legacy in hip-hop that it could have been when many consumers, like Sean, don't see beef as a benchmark for greatness.
The credit I'm trying to give him can only be applied if Kendrick replies. All these years, so many rappers have been defined by who they've bested in a rap battle or a rap beef before. And I've never felt like that was a relevant way to quantify someone's status in the world of hip hop or in rap music. Your catalog and your bodies of work speak for themselves. That is what define you. That is what makes you the best.
Aiming for the king, but landing in the court, Joey has invested serious energy into his back and forth. But responses from the likes of Hidda J3, Daylight, and a few others just haven't delivered the payoff he was hoping for. Daylight, while a respected battle rapper, has never been known for crafting full-fledged songs, and after dropping the most incendiary, deeply disrespectful bars of the entire exchange, even taking aim at Joey's unborn child, he bowed out of the beef with end credits, where he surprisingly gave Joey his flowers. The ruler's back. "Oh, you the man, Joey. Today I crown you the king of New York for taking that stand, Joey. You really took the fade with all of us. A brave man. New York made man. It should say immortal when you're Graveland." In this sense, the whole exchange ended up highlighting the shortcomings of the West Coast's rapping underclass more than it elevated Joey, because rather than positioning Joey as the dominant force, it exposed the lack of compelling challengers on the other side, and ultimately the problem remains that it never captured an audience beyond die-hard hip-hop heads, with even the finest tracks from the whole exchange averaging under 1 million views. From a strictly lyrical standpoint, some could argue that a track like Crash Dummy is miles ahead of Euphoria or Family Matters in terms of pure bars. However, neither the primary artist behind it or those he's aiming at is enough to move the needle to the same degree. And as for the East Coast artists who tagged in to help, tracks by the likes of Kai Cash, CJ Fly, Nick Caution, and Nico Brim's attempts to aid him, some could argue that a track like Crash Dummy is miles ahead of Euphoria.
Tough, boy. That Crash Dummy tough, boy.
Some could argue that a track like Crash Dummy is
that whole Crash Dummy tough, boy.
Dang. That's tough.
Or Family.
I thought that shit make a motherfucking Kendrick pop out, but he ain't pop out. What's going on with Kendrick, man? That boy don't want to pop out with it. Because he don't want to start that beef no more. He don't want to start that West Coast, East Coast beef. Man, that shit not gonna start no beef.
It matters in terms of pure bars. However, neither the primary artist behind it or those he's aiming at is enough to move the needle to the same degree. And as for the East Coast artists who tagged in to help, tracks by the likes of Kai Cash, CJ Fly, Nick Caution, and Nico Brim's attempts to aid him haven't meaningfully made a dent in the culture either. In the end, Rayvon is the only one who really gained, because even though he's been beat, his music received a 700% rise on May 11th, 2025, gaining around 170,000 new views.
Damn, that boy gave him clout. Man, you get that boy clout, man.
Also saw a notable increase in Spotify monthly listeners, with a 600% jump to 26,000 new listeners on April 29th, 2025.
Yeah, my boy put you on, man. Rayvon, man, that boy put you on, man. Okay.
Although while Joey isn't getting what he wants.
I just sort of like wonder how far this is going to go down, and if Joey's going to focus more on sort of
Joey
like
over here putting on niggas he shouldn't even put on. It's crazy.
Rayvon going forward from here, because Ray, I think in Joey's head, is kind of like the pathway to what he really wants, and that's a response from Kendrick. As much as, yes, it is true, there is like a Daylight and Kendrick connection, I don't think destroying Daylight or continuing to go at Daylight is going to bring Joey any closer to that, at least in his own mind. I think he probably sees the TDE and the Rayvon responses and everything as sort of like more blood in the water in terms of like what I actually want and where my focus needs to be.
While Cali rapper and TDE insider Glasses Malone maintains that Joey will get what he's asking for, at some point the fact remains that unless he can somehow destroy Kendrick with the kind of drama and revelations that we're now accustomed to expect from rap beefs, Joey is in a lose-lose situation. Instead, Joey should probably step away from this war with the West and focus on the new project he's dropping. Because if he can deliver on that front, then maybe he'll finally be in the conversations alongside Kendrick and Cole, the same conversations he's been trying to insert his way into for the past decade.
Alright, that's it. We gonna end that bit right here, man. We're gonna get back up on this hole around like 10, 11. Alright, we gonna get up on the game and shit, man. Shit, shout, that's on the brow, you're. Alright, brothers, we out this bitch, man. Get about all means, get that green, get that hustle money making fucking machine, you heard me. Don't forget about that paper. Niggas
Fake
bullshit
apology.
around, they some motherfucking hat. I don't give a fuck, ho. Oh God, I don't give a fuck how, yeah. Stay up, players, get your paper. Don't be letting the motherfucker get to your head, man. Fuck the maters, man. Oh God, get up on that shit consistent, man. Get up on your paper, man. Get up on me, bro. You know why we get it, bitch, by all means. Don't give a fuck what a nigga say. He a hating ass boy. Get the fuck out my way, you're. Come around, I can't help but wonder. What's the story, what's the truth? Hope that you find a way to break from your youth. Caught in such a love that's holding you down. I'll be your shelter, baby, if you just come around. Even though we just met, I feel the fire ignite. Feeling that shit so deep that illuminates the night. I can sense the pain carry all the way, try to decide. Let me take it all the way, just look in my eyes. Even though we just met, I can feel the fire ignite. A connection so deep that illuminates